Alice in Wonderland, Chapter 11, Part 1. Who Stole the Tarts? The King and Queen of Hearts were seated on their throne when they arrived, and a great crowd assembled about them, all sorts of little birds and beasts, as well as the whole pack of cards. The knave was standing before them, in chains, with a soldier on each side to guard him. And near the king was the white rabbit, with a trumpet in one hand and a scroll of parchment in the other. Check out the image. Lots of illustrations. In the very middle of the court was a table with a large dish of tarts upon it. They looked so good that it made Alice quite hungry to look at them. I wish they'd get the trial done, she thought, and hand around the refreshments. But there seemed to be no chance of this, so she began looking at everything about her to pass away the time. Alice had never been in a court of justice before, but she had read about them in books and was quite pleased to find that she knew the name of nearly everything there. That's the judge, she said to herself, because of his great wig. The judge was the king, and he wore his crown over his great wig. And that's the jury box, thought Alice, and those 12 creatures. She was obliged to say creatures, you see, because some of them were animals and some were birds. I suppose they are the jurors. She said these last words 2 or 3 times over to herself, being rather proud of it, for she thought that very few little girls of her age knew the meaning of it at all. However, jurymen would have done just as well. The 12 jurors were all writing very busily on slates. Let's look at the jurors. What are they doing? Alice whispered to the griffin. They can't have anything to put down yet, before the trial's begun. They're putting down their names, the griffin whispered in reply, for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial. Stupid things, Alice began in a loud, indignant voice, but she stopped hastily, for just then the white rabbit cried out, "Silence in the court!" Alice could see, as well as if she were looking over their shoulders, that all the jurors were writing down stupid things on their slates, and she could even make out that one of them didn't know how to spell stupid. One of the jurors had a pencil that squeaked. This, of course, Alice could not stand, and she went around the court, got behind him, and very soon found an opportunity to take it away. She did it so quickly that the poor little juror could not make out at all what had become of it. So, after hunting all about for it, he was obliged to write with one finger for the rest of the day. This was of very little use, as it left no mark on the slate. "Read the accusation," said the king. The white rabbit blew 3 blasts on the trumpet, then unrolled the parchment scroll and read, "The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away." "Consider your verdict," the king said to the jury. "Not yet, not yet," the rabbit hastily interrupted. "There's a great deal to come before that." "Call the first witness," said the king, and the white rabbit blew 3 blasts on the trumpet and called out, "First witness." It was the hatter. He came in with a teacup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other. I beg pardon, Your Majesty, he began, for bringing these in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for. You should have finished, said the king. When did you begin? The Mad Hatter looked at the March Hare, who had followed him into the court, arm in arm with the Dormouse. 14th of March, I think, he said. 15th, said the March Hare. 16th, added the Dormouse. Write that down, the king said to the jury, and the jury eagerly wrote down all 3 dates on their slates. Take off your hat, the king said to the Hatter. It isn't mine, said the Hatter. Stolen, the king exclaimed, turning to the jury, who instantly made a note of the fact. I keep them to sell, the Hatter added as an explanation. I have none of my own. I'm a Hatter. Here, the queen put on her spectacles and began staring at the Hatter, who turned pale and fidgeted. Give your evidence, said the king, and don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot. This did not seem to encourage the witness at all. He kept shifting from one foot to the other, looking uneasily at the queen, and in his confusion, the Hatter bit a large piece out of his teacup instead of the bread and butter. Stay tuned for part 2.